Hey everyone, and welcome back into the Sports Drive. I have Preston Moore. Oh my gosh, you're here again.
Surprise.
Yes, he's back with me. I guess we will not be interviewing the Dalhart coach today, but another team I do want to give a shout out to, like we said, a 4-seed Dalhart coming in and playing a 1-seed Denver City, getting that 10-point victory, 31-21 over a great first seed district champion, got that by-district win. So congrats to the Wolves and many more teams last night. I do want to apologize. I did get West Plains opponent wrong. It's the Pecos Indians, Eagles. It literally says Eagles right there. The Pecos Eagles, they won 56-7. Roosevelt was the team that Canadian beat last night. Canadian with the big win over Roosevelt Eagles, though, 70-8.
Oof.
Another team there that we've saw been dominant all year long, and another team that we expect to have a really big push in the playoffs.
Yeah, that Canadian team, they're really strong. You know, after the win against Randall, when Randall was about as hot as any team could be, you know, you look at Canadian and you think, who's going to beat them? How far can they go? Kind of the same thing as Randall volleyball, you know. They're probably going to go as far as they can take themselves. They're a really strong team. I think that they've had the same coaching staff, by more or less the same coaching staff for the last 15, 20 years, I think, is what Mike Roden said when I was talking to him. A lot of consistency in that program, and I think that leads to a lot of good football, even if you don't have a larger sample pool of kids to pull from, because Canadian is a smaller school. Even if you have that smaller school, if you keep the same coaches, if you keep the same culture around in that program for an extended period of time, as far as they have, you're going to build something special, and they have.
Yeah,
clearly.
That's kind of how you were saying. I mean, I grew up in a really small school area as well. I went to a 1A school. I graduated with 98 kids, so very small. But like you said, keeping that culture, keeping the same coaching staff. I mean, there are a lot of these big teams. Yeah, you can have a lot of talent, but when that chemistry builds, you know, and you've been playing with these, that's how we were growing up. You played with the same people for your whole life, rec ball, middle school, high school. So a lot of times, I know that when I was talking to the Highland Park volleyball coach, he was saying that he's been coaching these girls since they were in elementary school, the same group. So that speaks a lot to being able to have that culture, and to be able, these smaller schools especially, to be able to be so good is just that chemistry and, I mean, just playing together that long.
Well, and when you have consistency with the coaching staff,
Yes.
too. I mean, these guys have been coaching together for so long. They know who each other are. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. They know how to play to that, and they know how to build an offensive scheme and a defensive scheme and special teams. All three phases, they know how to build it to their strengths as coaches, and they know who's going to be the best coach for a specific type of player, a specific type of specific position, specific unit on the offense or defense. When you have that and they know each other to that extent, it just makes it all so much easier.
And then a couple other games that we had a lot of games last night. I mean, when I was making the runs list earlier this week, it wasn't just a couple Thursday night games like how it usually has been. There was a lot. So Bushland got a big win over the Kermit Yellow Jackets, 55-7. Another team we're expecting, you know, to make a big push into the playoffs. Paladuro fell to the Eagles 28-0. I mean, but we've seen that team being resilient all year long.
Yeah.
We've kept a close eye on that team, one of our AISD teams, and Coach Mims has done great with that program.
It's his first playoff appearance as coach.
So it's going to be exciting to see what he does next year.
Yeah, a successful season for Paladuro despite the early playoff loss. They hadn't made the playoffs in 8 years, and Coach Mims hadn't made the playoffs with the Dons yet. So it's an exciting time to be at that school. As far as football goes, I think that they have a brighter future than they've ever had in recent memory.
Well, thank you, Preston, for joining us again. We'll be right back on the Sports Drive just to wrap things up and to tell you guys at home a few things about the wrap-up tonight. And again, just mentioning our live stream for the Tascosa Rebels game tonight. So stay tuned on the Sports Drive. We'll be right back.